The villagers of Darien had forgotten how to look up. For 12 long years, the skies above the mountain peaks had been silent, no thunder of wings, no shadow moving across the clouds, no golden eyes shining from the cliffs, but deep beyond, the dead forest chained to a cracked pillar of black stone, the dragon still breathed. They called him nothing now. He had no name. Not anymore. Once he was called Varu, the Sky Flame. He had flown across the 9 peaks and melted ships midair. His eyes had been like sun's twin orbs of burning gold. They said he could see a hawk dive from 50 miles away, but now his eyes were white as frost, glazed, cracked like old glass. And though he was no longer feared, the people still bowed their heads when they walked past the edge of the forest. Just in case he still remembered, they chained him not out of fear, but out of duty, because they didn't know what to do with. A blind god. They fed him goats. Lowered in a net by thick rope, some said the dragon knew which hands were kind and which came near with greed. He would not eat the goat if blood was still on the rope then. One autumn morning, when the air smelled of smoke and the leaves turned black, she arrived. The girl came on foot, dressed in red. Her hood was stitched with old teeth. Her boots were made from swamp wolf skins. Her hands were black with ash, and she smelled faintly of copper smoke, and something sharp like the edge of a blade dipped in fire. She entered Darien without fear. Chickens scattered. Old dogs whimpered behind fences. Women pulled their children inside and slammed the shutters. The wind shifted. No one spoke to her until she reached the gathering hall. And when she stepped inside, her voice cut through the smoke. "I want the dragon," she said. The elders stared. The room went quiet. Even the fire stopped crackling. A wrinkled man with a twisted spine coughed. "That's not a pet, girl." "I didn't say I'd keep him," she replied. "I said I'll heal his eyes." Her name was Yunji. But the villagers whispered something else behind closed doors. "She's the Baba Yaga's daughter," they said. "The one from the swamp." The elders argued until dawn. Some feared the dragon, some feared the girl, but all feared the what if. What if she could really do it? And what if she failed? But in the end, they gave in. Yunji left at sunrise with only her satchel, her red hood, and her steps soft on the fallen leaves. The path to the dragon was not marked. The trees were blackened, the stones were cracked, and above the dead forest, nothing stirred, not even crows. She found him, as they had said, curled in the crater, chained to the pillar, his snout resting on ancient claws. He was quiet, like a dog too tired to bark, but when she stepped near, he lifted his head just slightly and sniffed. "I know that scent," the dragon rumbled, his voice like thunder under broken rock. "Ash, iron root, bone fire, you are from the hut that walks." "I'm Yunji," she said softly, bowing her head. "Daughter of the Bone Witch." He let out a growl, low and old. "Why are you here, child of ashes?" She pulled out a small glass vial from her satchel. Inside it, 2 glowing drops floated like twin stars. They shimmered gold and silver with a touch of stormlight. "To give you back your eyes," she said. The dragon chuckled. It was a dry sound. It's like 2 stones grinding together. "Why would I want to see again?" he asked. "Sight brought me. Nothing but pain. Blindness is peace." She stepped closer. "Because you were born to fly, not to rot in a pit. Because your name is still remembered, even if it's whispered." She sat beside his claw and waited. He did not answer. But he did not crush her either. That night, under a wide half-moon, she built a fire from black poplar and powder bone, lit the flame with a whisper and a pinch of dried leaf that sparked green and hissed. She boiled the eye. Drops in a copper bowl, and then she began to sing. It was an old tune, half Slavic, half spirit tongue. Her mother had taught her when she was 5, under a storm, with toads watching from the trees. On the second night, the dragon stirred. "What's the cost?" he asked. "What do you mean? Magic always has a price," he said. "Yours be." She looked at the stars above, then at the old dragon. I want one truth, she said. Something you saw, a child. The day the sky fell, the war ended. One child vanished. I want to know what happened. The dragon was silent. He didn't move. The wind rustled dead branches nearby. Something howled far off. Maybe a fox. Something else. You ask for ghosts, he said at last. I'm willing to pay. Another long silence passed. Then finally, the dragon lowered his head. Do it. At dawn, she dipped her fingers in the still hot liquid and whispered her mother's spells. She held his head steady, pressed her palm to his eyelids. The dragon screamed. The dragon screamed. The mountains echoed. Birds took flight from trees. Stones cracked in the earth. The sky darkened, and for a moment, the air burned with strange light. He roared. He thrashed. Wings shook dust from the crater walls. But Yunji stayed. She poured cold water over his horns. She chanted steady. As his body twisted in pain, her palms pressed on his temples, her voice never wavered. Hours passed. Then the dragon stopped moving. He was still, breathing hard, eyes shut tight, and then, slowly, he opened them. They were no longer white, no longer glazed. His eyes glowed gold brighter than fire, clearer than any light in the world. The fire had returned. He looked at her. He saw her. You kept your word, he said. So will I. He looked toward the horizon, long and slow. The child you asked about, he said. She was not lost. She was taken. What do you mean, taken? She had blood that glowed like moonstone. She opened something the soldiers never saw, a crack, a rift in the stars. He looked back at her. I saw her step through it. She reached back, but no one came. But then she vanished. And the rift closed. Yunji's voice trembled. Was it a portal? The dragon nodded. She wasn't lost. She was called. Yunji felt her breath leave her. The vial swung gently from her belt, now empty. The dragon lifted his head higher. The rift still exists, he said. Beyond the dead forest. South, where the twin moons align. Wait, watch. You may find it again. Then he spread his wings, wings that had not moved in 12 years. He rose, the chains falling like dust. The crater shook as he lifted into the sky, golden eyes burning once more. The villagers miles away saw it. Some fell to their knees. Others wept, but Yunji did not watch him leave. She turned her face toward the south, toward the rift. The dragon was not the only one who had seen too long in darkness. The wind stood still. For the first time in 12 long years, the dragon looked at someone. Really looked. His golden eyes burned like fire again, no longer white and broken. Feet no longer felt heavy. The world seemed to hold its breath. Yunji stood quietly beside him. Her face was tired, but her eyes were clear. She had waited for this moment. Not just to bring back the dragon's sight, but to find the truth. You kept your word, Barca said, his deep voice now smooth like thunder in the distance. And now you keep yours, Yunji replied. Tell me what you saw. The day the Skyfall War ended, my sister vanished in the ashes. I need to know. The dragon looked far into the sky. For a long moment he didn't speak. Then he closed his golden eyes again, not because he was blind, but because he remembered. There was smoke, he said slowly. Burning cities. Fire in the sky. Ships fell like comets. Your world was ending. Everyone was screaming. I saw everything. His wings shifted. His tail dragged across the stone like a giant brush. I had no side. I was above them all. I watched the stars fall. And then I saw her. A little girl, hair dark as shadow. Eyes glowing like moonlight. She wasn't crying. She stood in the middle of the ruin, quiet, calm. Yunji's breath caught in her throat. That was Sora. She was not afraid, the dragon said. She looked up, not at the flames, not at the skyships, but beyond. What happened? Yunji asked, her voice shaking. A light opened, he said, not fire. I had never seen anything like it. Bright, silver, full of stars. That didn't belong here? A portal? She whispered. Yes, the dragon nodded. She stepped toward it. Her blood began to glow. Her hand reached back like she wanted someone to come. Then she stepped through, and the light closed. Anji stood still. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but she didn't cry out. She just nodded slowly. So she's alive? She asked. I believe so, Varkas said. She wasn't taken by force. She answered a call. Something was waiting for her. Youngji looked up at the sky. Where did this happen? South, the dragon said. Beyond the dead forest? Past the ash plains? When the twin moons align in the sky, the rift sometimes opens. The girl stepped. Beckon pulled the empty glass vial from her belt. The glowing drops were gone, but they had done their work. I must go there, she said. The dragon bowed his great head. Turned toward the blackened trees. She didn't need a map. Her feet knew the path now. Behind her, dragon stretched his wings. Huge, golden. They burned with light as he rose. With a loud roar, Varkas leapt into the air. The wind exploded. For the first time in years, the skies above Gornik were broken by a shadow of wings. The villagers saw it. From their fields, their windows, their hiding places, some fell to their knees, others wept. Some just stared with open mouths. Their dragon had returned to the sky. But Yonji didn't look back. She walked into the forest. For 5 days and 5 nights, she walked through burnt woods and ash-covered plains. The land was silent. No birds, no beasts. The sky was always gray. At night, she slept under fallen trees. She dreamed of her sister, of small hands glowing in silver light, of a portal waiting. On the 6th night, she reached the edge of the world. The ground ahead was flat, a clack as coal, and something in the air felt different. A soft vibration, like something was breathing through the wind. Then it happened. The moons rose together in the sky side by side. 2 perfect circles of light, and the air began to shift. Right in front of her, the space above the ground started to shimmer, like heat rising, but colder. A silver crack appeared in the air, just wide enough to see through. It was not a door, a river floating in the sky, and moons 3 of them moving like dancers. She stepped closer. The ground under her feet began to hum. She raised her hand. The rift trembled. Then, from behind her, giant wings landed. VAR, 'cause he had followed her. I felt it open, he said. EUNG. Turned to him. I knew you would come. He nodded. I cannot follow you. My place is here, but your path is beyond. She looked at the rift. It pulsed with light. Then sound. A voice. Yunji. She froze. Her eyes filled with tears again. Sora, she whispered. The voice came again. It's really you. From the silver crack, a small glowing hand reached out. EU Undri ran forward. She grabbed the hand. It was warm. It was real. The rift opened wider, and then she stepped through. The world beyond was strange, beautiful, and waiting. The rift closed behind. Her Varkas stood alone now. He looked at the sky. The stars twinkled. The moons danced. He smiled a deep, quiet smile only dragons could make. Then he flew high above the ash plains and into the clouds. The villagers never saw the girl again. But sometimes, on clear nights, they saw a silver crack in the sky and a dragon flying beside it.